Hello, and welcome back for another Abomination Vaults video. Today, we will take a look at the 8th floor, which is the first floor of the Adventure Path's final book, Eyes of Empty Death. As always, we go through a general overview of the floor, key encounters, side quests, and more. Across all 3 floors of the final book, the adventurers will gather a set of powerful items to use in their fight against Belcora Haruvex. I outline all of that in a separate video, which I suggest you watch before continuing this one. A link to that video is in the description below. Also, just as previous videos, this one is filled to the brim with spoilers. If you are playing in an Abomination Vaults game, or will soon be playing in one, stop this video now and, I don't know, practice one of your other hobbies. You do have other hobbies, right? Without further ado, let's get to it. When Belcora planned her assault on Absalom, she knew that her mortal troops would require food and planned an underground garden. This garden, however, also needed minions to tend to it. She found those in a group of deep gnomes she enthralled, and dubbed them the Children of Belcora. These gardening gnomes were fiercely loyal to Belcora, and at first did not believe that she could have been killed by the Rose Guard. However, as the years went by, they realized their mistress was gone, and fell into despair and disorder. Many chose to abandon mortal life, immuring each other in the muddy grounds of the cave and becoming bog mummies. When Belcora's ghost returned, she must have been utterly shocked by what had happened to her garden. The Children of Belcora had abandoned their duty, ennui having taken hold of them. She put them under the management of the Naga Vethris, and commanded them to catch various creatures roaming the caverns, so Belcora could field them in her attack on the surface. Now, the Children of Belcora work to turn the decaying gardens into a menagerie of monsters, and show Belcora they are still fiercely loyal to her. The decaying gardens are a combination of natural caverns and structures built by the Children of Belcora. Bioluminescent fungi provide some illumination, and a massive, deep lake dominates this floor. Unless your party is very talented at swimming, using one of the rafts the bog mummies have will be rather helpful in crossing it. The natural caverns here are up to 50 feet high, but ceilings inside the various structures are between 8 and 10 feet. Mold and moss cover many surfaces, and the smell of earthly rot fills your nose. The first floor of the 3rd book kicks us off with not 1, not 2, but 3 important factions. Some of these might become allies, while others are a little bit too loyal to the Ghost Queen. The first faction are the Children of Belcora. The former deep gnomes, now turned bog mummies, serve Belcora with all of their undead hearts, and will do whatever it takes to hinder the adventurers. The children are led by Vethris, a lazy and corrupt Naga appointed by Belcora as supervisor. She cares mostly about lounging in her lair, ordering the bog mummies to bring her food and more treasure. The children dislike her, but do not dare to rebel against her because they respect Belcora's choices. Years ago, a group of Caligni fled from some calamity deep down in the Darklands, and ended up in these caves. Led by Galudu and Dulak, the Caligni found safety in the abandoned shrine to Nimbaloth. Eventually, these refugees also met the god Erthagul, meditating in the cave in the northeast. Dulak and some of the Caligni started to revere the Gug and his visions, while Galudu and the remaining Caligni did see no reason to honor and follow this prophet. Eventually, This split among the Caligni led to Galudu and his followers descending to the 9th floor, while Dulak and the rest of the cult of Erthagul remain here. The cult is currently distressed because Belcorra's wisps block the path to the cave of Erthagul. The Ghost Queen knows the Gug possesses one of the fulcrum lenses and does not want anyone else to enter the cave. Finally, this floor also hosts a scouting party of Drow, coming up from Ildaris on the 9th floor. They will try to figure out what the deal is with the PCs, but are open to talk and see if their goals align. If things go well, these Drow can introduce the PCs to Quora Arshendiel, the leader of Ildaris. After the second book not focusing much on Belcorra Haruvex or topics related to her, this floor will give you the chance to remind your players who is the actual villain of the adventure path. Belcorra herself will regularly waylay them, and the 8th floor is your first chance to give them a taste of the Ghost Queen. The book outlines some good moments on when to have her appear, but do not forget that at this point, Belcorra is a great threat to the party. I would suggest sticking to the suggestions in the book and having her just cast a spell or two on her first appearance, showing the adventurers what she is capable of. Only once she believes the PCs are a serious danger, for example, once they possess at least one fulcrum lens, will she bear her full force against them. Should for some reason the PCs succeed in killing Belcorra, keep in mind that Belcorra will rejuvenate and can even utilize the Ebon Fulcrum lens to help in this process. The best moment for the first encounter with Belcorra is, in my opinion, shortly after any of her minions have encountered the PCs. This could either be the children of Belcorra or any of the wisps lingering in room 2. The latter have a direct way of communicating with Belcorra and alarming her to the PC's presence. Belcorra will then also use these servants to help hinder the adventurers. I think it's fine to take the encounters with the children of Belcorra in room 19 and 20 and move them around. They might receive the order to chase the heroes or waylay them elsewhere on this floor. Traveling across the fetid lake of room 15 has a chance of incurring a random encounter. For every 15 minutes the PCs spend on the lake, you roll a DC 5 flat check. On a success, a random encounter occurs. I'm personally not a big fan of random encounters, but if you want to give your players some more challenges, there are some cool results on this table. One of them can be the Froghemoth from room 27, which will fight the adventurers for just a single round. This is some great foreshadowing for the dangers ahead. We'll talk about the Froghemoth in a moment. The cave in room 12 is where Erthagul resides. Make sure to read up on the effects of the cave, especially the fact it suppresses emotion effects. The stupefied condition caused by the whispers can also add a significant complication, especially to the casters in the party. Erthagul will fight if threatened, and as a Gug is extremely dangerous. Even if one of its hands is always occupied by the lens, the remaining ones can tear a PC at this level apart. Absolutely frightening, but the adventurers do not have to fight Erthagul. If they are sent in this direction by the Caligni, their task is to clear the passage to this cave through room 10 and 11 and not fight Erthagul. If they come here to retrieve the lens, their goal will be to steal that instead of fighting a Gug to the death. Give your players some time to discuss how they could try and get the lens from this monster without being killed in the process. Of course, some players are headstrong, and you can only do so much warning as a GM to prevent them from making bad decisions. Vethris resides in room 25. Protected by a Dread Wraith in room 23, and some Children of Belcorra in room 24, Vethris will fight the PCs if they make it through those defenses, but she is not willing to die for Belcora. The book suggests having her surrender at 40 or fewer hit points, bargaining for her life. This is a moment you can use to provide the adventuress with some information. Caring only for her own life and her riches, Vethris might know why Belcora wants the cave in room 12 protected, or that she's also rallying the Urdefon on the 9th floor. Use Vethris as a lore and information delivery system for any intel you think the players might need at this point. If the PCs weren't lucky enough to meet it as a random encounter, they can have a full-fledged encounter with the Froghemoth in room 27. While the Froghemoth is a terrifying foe for characters of this level, it uses the weak template because it is suffering from bog rot caused by the children of Belcora. Still, this creature has an array of deadly abilities and will be more than a handful for an unprepared party. The Froghemoth has not been here for long, but has already done a lot of damage to docks, buildings, and the inhabitants of the floor. If you want to foreshadow its presence, and not rely on the result of a random encounter table, you could have inhabitants like the Caligni or Drow tell the PCs about a monster lurking in the waters, and to be wary of an antenna with alien eyes poking out of the water. If you want to learn more about Froghemoth, I've made a separate video about them. The link is in the description below. Room 29, 34, and 35 all are part of the vast fungal wilds in the southern parts of this floor. Considering the adventurers have spent many levels in man-made tunnels and hallways, highlighting the wilderness and bioluminescence of this area will be a nice change of scenery. However, danger lurks here as well, chief among them the Goliath spider lurking in the center of room 35. This spider has already claimed the lives of 2 drow from the outpost further south, and it is quite the beast to fight. If you want to introduce the drow in a dramatic way, or help out your players if they are in over their head, I would suggest having some of the drow from room 42 and 45 show up. They have been trying to kill this spider anyway, and a little bit of outside help might just be the thing they need. Talking about the drow, starting from room 40, we enter their little outpost. These drow, led by Iribo and Nizaros, are a scouting party sent up from Ildaris. Their initial attitude to the PCs is indifferent, and they are definitely open to hearing the adventurer's story and reasons for being here. If the PCs can gain their trust, which is made easier by helping kill the spider in room 35, Nizaros or Iribo will offer to guide them down towards Ildaris. Interacting with the drow is made even easier if the party saved Falxi or Shendiel from the kitchen of the Warp Brew Tavern all the way back up on the 6th floor. Iribo has a pet hunting spider, which I think is just a really cool animal companion to have, and I just wanted to mention that. The teleportation circle for this floor is all the way in the southwest in room 33, well hidden behind a secret door in room 32. Though the PCs might not realize it just yet, the Gug Earthagull and the item in its possession play a vital role. The most likely way for the party to find out about this creature is via the Caligni. While the PCs might fight the Caligni at first, they are open to parley and discuss their plight. Dulak is looking for ways to have her people reunited with Earthagull, and if the adventurers can clear the passage to the cave, she will ask her fellow cultists to stand down. The adventurers can also use the Caligni's chambers to rest and recover. If you want to use this as an early chance to clue the PCs in on the importance of the lenses, you could have Dulak really stress that since the return of Belcora, the wisps and children have blocked the passage to the cave, and that she has the feeling the cave or what is in it has importance to the Ghost Queen. Room 38 hosts Murmur, a Medusa under the effect of a Nevermind spell, formerly known as Feeble Mind. If the adventuress can restore her mind, she's willing to aid them for a few days, which will come in handy when fighting the Nilith who caused her condition in room 39. The book gives us not much information on Murmur, except that she is bossy and cruel. If you want to give her some more background, consider making her a mercenary hired by the Drow of Ildaris to scout ahead. If the PCs have not yet encountered the elves, Murmur can give them some information, perhaps wanting to go back to the small outpost to finally receive her payment for services rendered. The full role of the Fulcrum lenses and how they play a part in defeating Belcorra will become clear on the 9th floor. Make sure to familiarize yourself with the history of the lenses, the lattice, and where they currently are. As mentioned earlier, I do have a handy-dandy video about that available. The Drow on this floor are a scouting party sent up from Ildaris. If the PCs play their cards right, these elves can introduce them to Quara Arshendiel, the leader of this Drow settlement. It is smart to read up on the information Quara can provide, and understand the relationship of the Drow with Belcorra. Dulag and her cult are just one half of the Caligni refugees. The rest have followed Galudu down to floor 9 and are looking for safe passage to a new home. While the two groups harbor no aggression towards each other, they are also not really on speaking terms. Galudu considers Dulag and the other cultists simpletons, having fallen to whatever deception is happening in Erthagol's cave. However, if the PCs can vouch for Dulag, Galudu might be open to reconcile with her and reunite the Caligni groups again. Perhaps together, and with the help of these adventurers, they can find a new place to call home. That's it for this video. Are there any specific parts of this floor you look forward to run? Or do you have any further questions or feedback? Sound off in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching, stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.